Hello, everybody. I don't know. Wow, that's a real weird way to start this. Anyway, my name's JD. This is We Watch Shudder. Who's here with me?
It's Michelle, and no, we will not be re-recording that. We don't do that here. Just let JD have a breakdown 2 seconds in, and that's a good indication of what the episode's going to be.
This goddamn dog, Michelle.
Oh, no, he wanted food, and JD didn't want to feed him.
No, that's not what happened at all. I've been trying to get him to eat all damn day. And he refused. He wanted me to just give him his treats. And then once I sit down to record a damned podcast and Mom goes to bed, I can hear him in the other room finally eating his dinner, this little shit. Anyway, welcome to We Watch Shudder, guys. If this is your first time tuning in, yes, we always bitch about our dogs.
Yeah. Pets in general over here, but yes.
We love them, but man, we sure do bitch about our pets. Did your bird boyfriend ever come back, Michelle?
Nope. Woody never came back.
Woody.
Now I'm just befriending the crows, and my goal is to get it so that they feel safe enough for me to approach them and maybe like sit by the food dish, and then like they'll get curious because crows are curious creatures, and maybe they'll like hop on me or something.
Now, I don't want to get all like native avians or whatever, but are you sure they're crows and not grackles?
Yes, grackles are smaller.
Oh, okay.
And I have the bird watching app, so I've listened to their cries to compare them. And yes, these are crows, and they're big, and when they fly past my window, they're so big I can hear their wings go flap, flap.
I told you about the grackle who lived in the tree right outside my apartment who attacked me every day one summer, right?
You did. Not to get a local avian, but are you sure it wasn't a crow? Did you have the bird watching app, and did you listen to its cry? Because I did. And I know for sure that they are crows. And I checked them off my sightseeing list, so now I don't have to see any more, but I want to. I went and I got cashews and I got peanuts in the shell because apparently those are the things they like. They like the challenge of opening the peanuts.
I thought you had just completely skipped topics into I went and got snacks before the show, and now I got peanuts in the shell because I've decided I want to crack my peanuts before I eat them. No, I'm just giving them to the birds. I gotcha. Yeah.
I figured, peanuts are a very good podcast food. Definitely not very loud cracking stuff over here.
Well, people just love it in general when you eat while you talk to them. That's a great thing that people enjoy.
My favorite.
Right. Monster Island is what we're here to talk about today, guys. New drop on Shudder this weekend. A Shudder exclusive. Michelle, what did you know about Monster Island before it came around?
Ooh, well, fun story there. Probably not very fun. I thought it was fun. Okay. It's very rare that we watch things that aren't on my radar. So then I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that came out. Let me go watch it. And then I went to look at my list of movies, and there was no movie called Monster Island on the list. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. I've apparently never heard of this. And then partway into the movie, they say the phrase Orangutan, and I go, that's the original title of the movie. Yes. I know a lot about this film. So I knew quite a bit. I just did not realize it was this movie until about 20, 30 minutes into it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't know shit about it until I saw the title show up, because that's how I roll.
I didn't even ask because I knew.
I didn't even know that it was originally called Orangutan until after I had already finished the film. Mm-hmm. I knew that was a thing that the guy said in the film, obviously on account of how I watched it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. God damn it! Sorry, guys, you're not going to be able to tell on account of how I'm an editing wizard, but 4 minutes into the goddamn episode and my laptop crashed. Thankfully, there are recovery files, and we know how to... God damn it.
Thank God they didn't miss 4 minutes of bird talk.
Why are we... Why does the world hate us, Michelle?
Well, I have a list of reasons.
Okay. Is it because of the bird talk?
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people check out at that point. That's definitely like a thing. You remember when we got that positive review on one of the podcast sites and they said that we're very annoying, LOL JK, and gave us a positive review anyway? And I think about that all the time.
Oh, so do I. I also think about the one all the time where the guy said, I don't remember what he said, but he got real mad because I said I wished Elon Musk and Donald Trump would die. That was a fun time. I didn't see that review until long after it was posted. I wish I had seen it much sooner. Anyway, we were talking about Monster Island, Orang Econ, and I was about to say that once I knew that it was originally called Orang Econ, and then I learned that, what does Orang Econ mean, Michelle?
Fish person.
Fish person.
Fish.
Person fish. Yeah, it's. I think. I personally feel like The Fishman would have been a much better title for this movie. That's what I'm gonna say, just off the bat. But no, I as per usual, I didn't know jack about this movie until I saw it.
Yep.
Yup. How about you?
Okay, let's talk about it.
Well, you already told us what you said. Yeah, let's talk about it.
I was going to say, I told you about it, but it was 5 minutes ago, so you've since forgotten.
Well, yeah, because of the crash and...
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, let's talk about Monster Island.
Okay.
Can you read the Descrippy script? I didn't bring it back up because I want minimal things running on my laptop now because I'm paranoid that it's going to crash.
Let me go to Shudder.com and find it.
Thank you,
1
Michelle.
second.
I appreciate
It's on the
you.
homepage. Okay, I got it.
All
You ready?
right. Yes.
We're doing the description from Shudder for once because we are nitpicky. And, well, sometimes. I'm usually not nitpicky. JD has a preference in how words are said. So, after a WWII...
Hang on.
What?
I don't have a... The irony of what's about to happen here is hilarious, but I don't have a
Captain Pedantic.
I don't have a preference for the way words are said. There's a way words are meant to be said, Michelle.
Tomato, tomato.
Believe me, I know how ridiculous.
Monster is linked.
I was 3 steps into that thought, but I ultimately realized I'm about to do exactly what she said I do to complain that I don't do what she says I do.
Yep.
All right, anyway.
And I knew it was going to happen.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Shall we?
I guess.
Okay. After a WWII Japanese ship is torpedoed, 2 enemies wash ashore a deserted island where they are hunted by a monstrous creature inspired by 1954 classic The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Monster Island. 84 minutes. JD.
Yeah.
I want to hear your spoiler-free thoughts.
Okay, we'll get to
on the WWII movie.
Okay, now I know at least that you're doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
That's not
I know
fun.
what World War II
That's not... Well, you're also the person who said room or goo, Michelle, so...
I know. But I know about the war because I fought in it. I was in World War II.
Oh, okay.
I got to drive one of the planes, and I went, that was me.
You drove anyway.
Well, I was too scared to put it in the air, so I just piloted it around. Yeah.
You just drove it on the
ground.
Okay, fair.
I was kind of like a plane taxi. I would bring the pilots from the airport to their plane, and then I'd just drive the plane back and forth. It was a very quick job. I did not last very long, but I was in the war.
All right. So you want my spoiler-free thoughts then on Monster Island?
Yeah.
This is frankly exactly the kind of movie that doesn't really do it for me, right? It's a capably made creature feature type movie. It's more of like an action horror. The way that description they mention their creature from the Black Lagoon, I think a perfect way to describe this movie is the Predator from the Black Lagoon. You know, it's very much, you know, guys trying to survive against a weird creature that they don't know anything about on a place or in a place that they've never been before. And it tries to add some layers of stuff in there, but unfortunately doesn't really resonate with me enough for any of the things that it tries to bookend the movie with. to really hook me, and we'll talk more about that in the spoiler section. But yeah, nothing wrong with it in any way, shape, or form. It's just one of the kinds of movies that I am personally least interested in. So far as my experience with it, I fell asleep halfway through once, and I turned to my mom and said, "Woof, I'm really kind of bored right now." Once as well, because Mom watched it with me. Two Skulls.
Two Skulls from JD.
Yeah, I thought the creature was cool, right? Because obviously we all know there's a creature. I'm really happy that they're doing. There's like a practical effects thing. It's like just like an old school dude in a rubber suit, and it was a pretty rad rubber suit. But yeah, it's just not my kind of movie.
I'm waiting.
You're gonna wait.
Okay. Just thinking of my time back in the war, and how good of a pilot I was.
How good of a pilot were you?
I was such a good pilot that they gave me a raise.
Really? As a woman?
Well, good point. I wore a mustache. Nobody knew.
Michelle, do you want to tell us your spoiler-free thoughts, please?
Yeah. So first off, I like this movie because it reminds me of my time in the war.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, I actually wound up writing a lot of notes about this because I needed to figure out my own thoughts about it. And here's what I settled on. This movie is like a pair of jorts. Jean shorts. Jorts. I understand their purpose and why people like them. I don't really like them, and I will judge people who like them a little bit. They are fine for some people, but I do not really appreciate a pair of jorts. There are a lot of... It's strange because I generally don't like creature features, and yet the strongest part of this movie is the creature, and I don't think I could say that about a single other creature feature out there. My issue is always that they show you it, and it's not worth looking at, but in this, it's worth looking at. And that's reason enough to say that you should watch it once. I don't know if you want to watch it a bunch of times, but like you could. I'll just judge you, little jorts man. If you really love your jorts, that's fine. I like some parts of this movie, and we will get into the other parts in the spoiler section. I'm gonna go with a 2.8.
2.8 skulls from Michelle, 2 skulls from me. That is a 2.4 skull average.
Oh, sorry. It's a 2.80.
Well, yeah, that's 2.8.
Yep. I just needed to clarify because I'm doing my scores in the hundredths.
I got
not
you.
the tenths. So I had to add the 0. It is
fair
still...
enough. Fair enough.
Yep.
I see you.
Yep,
You are seen, Michelle. So I guess then the
Thank
average
you.
is 2.40.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So that's how we feel about Orang Ikan.
Monster Island.
For a minute, I thought he was saying something about an orangutan because I was.
Me too.
I had the subtitles on because I'm that person still in my life. Yeah, I thought he was
the
saying
one who wants to know story points that you might have missed otherwise.
Yeah, because audio mixes
the
on home
right
video and
person?
streaming are fucking terrible these days. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I watch everything with subtitles.
Yeah.
I want to know what's happening.
I don't want to have to turn things way up to hear what people are saying and then get my ears blown out by loud. Jeez, could we just balance? For Christ. Anyway, Monster. Should we just get into spoilers, Michelle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we should.
I think you already asked if we should do that, didn't you?
Yep.
Okay.
I did.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. We'll dive right in.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Dive right into this WWII movie all about your time in the war.
Oh, thank you so much for recognizing my time in the war. It always makes me feel so good. I go to Perkins and I get discounts because I'm a veteran. For the record, anybody out there, because I have friends who are veterans, I hope that this strange tangent does not count as stolen valor. It should be very apparent that I would not do well in any sort of military situation.
Would it, Michelle, I go to, just because you mentioned stolen valor, this is something that's been on my mind, and I want to check with you. Mm-hmm. So I go to this grocery store here in my neighborhood, and I tend to go later at night because that's just how I roll. And there's this nice lady who works the overnight at the checkout register, and every time I come in there, and like, I get it, she sees a lot of people, but she works on the overnight shift or the late night shift, and I come in alone at the very end of the night all the time. So you'd think at some point she would at least know I'm a guy who comes in pretty regularly. She's not going to know my name. She's not going to know a lot about me. But every single time I come in, when I'm checking out, she asks me if I am military or ex-military. And I always say no, because I'm not. And then one day, I was just like, yeah, I am. And she gave me a 10% discount. And I didn't.
You just wanted to know what would happen.
I was curious, and she gave me, and then I didn't want to be like, no, I'm not actually military, but I was like, and then of course it dawned on me that I'm just an asshole, and she only asks every time, not because she doesn't recognize me, but because it's a habit, and she asks it of everybody to make sure she doesn't forget. So now I got 10% off my groceries because I claim to have been somebody I'm not. I'm feeling really torn up about it.
Have you been back since?
Yeah.
And has she asked you the question?
Yes.
And have you said yes or no?
I've always said no. Again, it was just
okay,
yes the one time.
Yeah, she's like, oh man, that guy's got a story of how he enrolled for a single day and got kicked out.
Right, but then
that's probably what she thinks.
All they ask is if you're military or ex-military. They don't ask how you're ex.
True.
Anyway, so Stolen Valor got me off on a tangent. Let's talk about this movie. Do you want to tell people about what happens with the fish man?
Yeah, sure. I'll tell them all about the fish man. And then I have notes about the fish man, but we'll keep him for a little bit. So we got two guys. Their names Saito and Bronson, and they're on a ship. And they are prisoners on the ship. Bronson, he's a white guy and he's a prisoner of war. And Saito, he's Japanese and he's a traitor. And so they shackle him together and they're like, you two date now, please kiss. And then as they're making them kiss, the ship gets torpedoed and they wind up on an island, which is great. A nice little romantic seclusion for these two to really get to know each other. And they're enemies, but they're kind of buddies. And it's a will they, won't they kind of thing. But then Orangi Khan shows up and just ruins the vibe. They were on this nice little date, and now there's a third person, and the person is only half a person because the other half of him is a fish. Wait, just kidding. It's not a he, it's a mommy. And so they have some shenanigans, really funny buddy comedy going on here, you know, really lighthearted fun. Lots of people getting their heads ripped off. And, you know, that sort of thing. And then they come across a gigantic egg, which did make me ask questions about how this reproductive process happens. And that's the thing that I left this movie caring the most about, is I want to know, like, was that smaller at one point? Or did the Orangi Khan birth it at this size? I have some questions. National Geographic can't answer them. What I will say about the kid is that when they killed it, it was really funny. I laughed so hard. And I think I was supposed to feel emotional about it, but I was cracking up because that thing was flopping everywhere. It was clearly just like this rubber fishman fetus, and the mom was really sad, and it was my favorite part of the movie by far.
And it was... and then... I'm sorry, I have to point out, it was this, because it stuck out to me, it was this just really, like, almost obviously, like, latex rubber white color. It almost looked like the the chest burster from Alien.
It's so good.
Oh,
That's the best part of this movie.
Just gloppy.
And then after that happens, Saito pops out of sand to attack the monster, and then I looked at the time remaining in this film, and I was amazed to find there were still 13 minutes left, because just right before that, there was a huge explosion. They could have gone out with a big bang, literally. But apparently we still had more movie left. So he attacks the fish monster, and the fish monster dies. And then he gets on the ship, and they're like, hello, we have to ask you many questions about your friend. And he was like, he was my best friend. I loved him so much. I might have liked him even more than a friend. And it's real sad. It's a real, like, Jack getting flung off the door in Titanic kind of situation of like, but they were meant to be together. Jack and Rose just, ill-fated lovers. Really good romantic movie. And then we have this super long sentimental ending about two guys I did not care about. The end.
Yep, that's Monster Island, Orang Econ, in a nutshell.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with
do
you.
You want to hear more about the movie or Orang Econ first?
Well, can I talk about a couple of things first here? Because I think you make a really...
Well, that answers my question.
Oh.
So thank you for answering my question, yes.
What was your question?
My question was, do you want to talk about the movie or Orang Econ first?
Oh, I've completely misunderstood what you said. I'm sorry. God, what a fucking night I'm having. Anyway, yeah.
I don't care how words are said. He tries to make a claim of, but then when I say the words...
No, the problem is I didn't hear them right, Michelle. I'm at least admitting this time that it was my fault and not yours.
You only hear the words when I say them wrong. Other than that, it's just me talking into the void.
I feel terrible.
I mean, I don't listen myself. It's
you
fine.
only hear the words when I say them. I'm an asshole.
I'm typing the word wrong econ. Okay,
that's
go ahead.
2 words. But God damn it!
You fell into my trap. I have activated my trap card. Spell speed 5.
Okay.
You can't negate it.
So, yeah, Monster Island, Orang Econ. One of the biggest things is to, like, at the beginning here, like, this is a preposterous monster movie, right? Like, it's guys end up on a crazy desert or remote island, and there's a monster on it, and they gotta fight the monster. We've seen this. We know what it is, and it can be fun. It can be a real good time. But they open up with that whole thing. Like, I don't even have a problem with the dudes on the boat and then the boat getting torpedoed, but there's that whole thing about, like, the history of it. Like, they're trying to... It's almost like they felt they needed to explain to us why a Japanese guy and a British guy were both on this ship in the South Pacific, and then it got torpedoed kind of at random. And the thing is, if we're about to watch a movie about some guys who get stranded on a remote island and there's a creepy fish monster... I don't care why they're on the boat or why the boat got torpedoed. You don't need to explain that, right? And then they get back to that bookend on the other end, and it did feel so heavy and so forced on the whole, like, he was my friend kind of thing, because it's basically an action monster movie through the entire rest of the film, and we don't ever really... I don't want to say that they don't give us... this isn't the kind of movie for most of the movie where you get attached to the characters, and I don't mean that as a criticism. There are plenty of movies where you are not meant to necessarily have a significant emotional experience with it. You know, it's a fun, good action horror movie. But then they bring it back around to this thing where it tries to have this gravitas again, and it just... I couldn't feel it because they had given me nothing to connect with the characters on throughout the rest of the movie. It's like they almost like expected me to bring all this pathos to it just by saying certain things, and that didn't do it. So, like, as a monster movie creature feature, I dug it, but I like you said, that they tried to make me feel a lot of things about some guys that unfortunately I just didn't care about.
Great, because that segues into lore about the Orang Econ.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm gonna drink some root beer.
The reason. Oh, okay. You do that. I'm just making sure that they can hear the ice sloshing around. Get that real ambient noise going on. What do they call that again? ASMR. Yep. Nice. So
they probably wouldn't have
Orangutan,
noticed
the
if you
reason-
hadn't drawn any attention to it.
Can I continue, JD?
No. Yes,
Anyway,
please.
Orangutan. This has been on my radar because I was curious what the fuck an orangutan is. And so I had done some looking into it. And first off, it's really hard to find what orangutan is because if you Google that, you just get this movie. And then eventually I came across a cryptozoology site which said that the entry was made back in 2012, and it looked like a 2012 website, but that wasn't enough for me because I was like, somebody could edit the date. And how I knew orangutan existed before this movie was I found a Facebook post from 2017, and you can't change those. So now I know that this is an actual thing. But it's such a the story is the exact same every time you look it up. So it's kind of like one person said a story and somebody read it on the internet and they added it to their cryptozoology journal, and then somebody read that and then they added it to Facebook with fun facts. It's just the exact same info presented in the exact same way. And so now I'm going to tell you guys this info too. Apparently the orangutan, totally real, 100% real. It's a fact that these things exist. It was reported by Sergeant Taro Horiba when he was a Japanese soldier stationed on some Indonesian islands, specifically the Key Islands in 1943. The Malay translation of orang means human and ikan means fish. This thing that they swore they saw had limbs and a face similar to humans, but with a mouth like a carp's, which is a very scary description. I didn't feel like that while watching it. It has pink skin, so wow, Mike Woolyon, you fucked that up. This thing's very green. And it had prominent spines on their head with no tail, which again, bummer. It should have a tail. It should have a tail and legs. Best of both worlds. So I just thought that was fun, that this is a real thing. And it's not an orangutan. However, with all that said, I know how this movie could be improved.
Okay.
And that is, we replace the orangutan. We have everything about this movie be 100% the same. This replacement creature, which I'll get to, is still going to rip open a crocodile's jaw. It's still going to give birth in whatever manner that was. But instead of the orangutan, just a naked guy wearing a pair of sneakers. This movie would have been much scarier. Think of all the brutality in this movie committed by this human fish. I didn't feel any fear, but a naked man doing that, terrifying.
Well, I mean,
I fixed it.
To be fair, that's something that could fix a lot of movies, is if you just replace whatever with a naked dude.
Yeah, I think about it every time I watch a movie. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. If Winnie the Pooh was just a man
Jaws,
who was naked wearing a red t-shirt.
Jaws, what a terrible, terrible film if they had just replaced the shark with a naked dude.
Oh, replace the entire cast with naked dudes, all played by the same dude. You're gonna need a bigger butt.
It's not.
I'm watching a shark movie right now. It's a shark documentary day. We'll talk about that, Michelle, in review.
You're watching a shark documentary while we're recording an episode?
Well, no, it is paused on Eli Roth's beautiful face.
So not
it has
right
23
now.
minutes left. No. I mean, I think if it's paused, I am in the process of watching it, just like I'm in the process of reading a book, even if I am not reading right this second.
Right, so you're in the process, but you're not reading it right now.
Captain Pedantic!
You
Faster
did this.
than a bullet. Hungrier than a hungry hippo. Fancier than one of those poodles dancing wearing a tutu.
There's nothing fancy about me. That's for damn sure.
Well,
Anyway,
I tried.
Do you have anything else to tell us about the Orang Econ?
If I saw somebody at a nerd convention wearing this creature suit, I would be like, holy shit, 10 out of 10. I need a picture with them. I hope they win the costume contest. But seeing as a lead in a horror movie, it is a 4 out of 10. It's a great costume. It's well made. It's not spooky. It should have just been like a naked guy. But if I saw it in person, I'd be like, holy shit. Like, this movie doesn't have to do fun angles and clever editing because it can just show you. It's just a guy in a suit.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know that the intention was for it to necessarily be terrifying, but I thought they were really smart with how they presented it in like the first half hour or so before they finally like they give us more and more of a look at it, but it's still very quick shots. You know, we see more and more every time. I remember I'm thinking specifically of a shot where we finally see the whole thing, but it's like a weird quick pullback shot from the monster in the distance, like on the top of a cliff, and it does like a roar thing. And I thought they handled that really well. I thought the creature suit was cool. I laughed my ass off at the Fishman baby. I went in there and I was like, why is there a giant spider web with like a thing in the middle of it? Turns out it's not a spider web. And I, like you, am very, why, this is how they reproduce? Who, what, what, no? And when they shot it, what I'm getting at is the blood and guts in this movie is really well done. First time they ripped that one dude's head off, that was great. The dude gets his heart ripped out of his chest. I thought that part of it was really, really, really well handled. It was definitely a fun, gruesome. Like, if you're into just gruesome action horror, I think you'll probably find something to enjoy in this.
The writer-director of this, Mike Willian, I believe. I Googled it. I don't know if that's correct. Google could have lied to me. Wiluan. He has 7 movies. 6 of them have been released. And 3 of those movies use the same font on the poster, and I think that's very funny.
My man
he
is
paid
committed.
For a font. Yeah, he paid for a font once, and he's like, I'm going to get my money's worth. So Motel Melody, Lost Man Melody, and Monster Island all use the same font, and that, I like that. I think that's good. That gives a whole point.
John Carpenter.
I like that.
John Carpenter had a font that he used for basically all of his movies in the 80s. I don't know exactly what it was, but that was a whole thing for him, too. Some guys just get attached to their fonts, Michelle.
Yeah. Part of the reason I noticed it is that the poster for this movie is fucking rad.
Yeah, it is.
It's a great poster.
Yeah, and again, like I said, I almost feel like I would have been able to appreciate this movie more if, like, I feel like they really wanted it to be a little bit more deep and character and story driven than the movie really allowed. And I think if they had been able to hold back some of that ambition and just let this be a fun action horror movie, I might have been able to appreciate it a little bit more. But like I said, the splattery parts of it, top notch, man, really fucking good. I wasn't expecting it to be that aggressively gruesome.
One of the other things that I was trying to think of, like, when I watch a movie and I don't love it, I start thinking, like, what could they have done to fix this so that I specifically liked it?
Naked dude.
Yeah, exactly. Naked man. So that's one of them. But I start going through the list of, like, well, what are the things I don't like? And putting in that context in my head really helps me, like, solidify, like, what didn't work? Like, if I was making this movie, which I wouldn't, I'm not talented. I'm not saying, like, oh, I could do it better. But I was thinking, like, if I was somehow having creative input, like, what would I have maybe changed? And one of the things that I came away with is that the language barrier between these two could provide an interesting angle for storytelling. They tried to build tension a little bit when they couldn't understand each other while trying to fight a fish man. And they tried to bridge that gap, but I don't think that it provided enough tension to justify them also trying to have this emotional connection. And I feel like it wound up being a hindrance with the way that they went with this, trying to do like a big sentimental thing when I don't know who the fuck these guys are. I know the very basics because things that I would have learned via dialogue, I didn't. Like, they weren't sitting there like on a log having a conversation about like missing a wife back home, that kind of stuff. And so it can provide an interesting avenue for storytelling and allow the danger and the stakes to be higher because now you're chained to a guy that you can't talk to. But they just didn't use it enough, and then they expect us to feel very connected to these dudes, and I just didn't.
Yeah, and I do also want to say there were a couple of things. The simple fact that it's like the way the ending played out, right? It's like, okay, we find out that they go in that angle of like, oh, it's just a native creature here who's trying to protect its nest, which, first of all, they were in the water on the beach. They weren't anywhere near the nest. So why did it get aggressive right from the get-go?
You never met a moose? Super territorial.
But, well, okay, fair. But also, like, for a minute there, it felt like the ending of this movie was going to be just like, oh, well, we had to kill the monster and its baby, and one of us died too, but that's just how it had to be. What a bummer. We had to kill the mama and the baby. And then somehow the mama survives this fucking explosion. And so, again, I don't mind things being preposterous, but it kind of ratchets up the preposterousness to a couple of degrees. The one that got me the most is how the fuck did he have time and just the ability to bury himself back in that grave, bury himself so well that the sand and everything was packed down on top of him so the fish man didn't notice. Is just a cool thing to do, but they didn't really give us, I don't know, it just it felt a little slapdash at times.
They got out of the shackles too quickly. No, I'm serious. That could have been a really, like, trying to run beside a guy whose, like, leg is broken now some reason. Like, that could have been a really good tool. This thing had so many good tools, and then it went, nah, I'm just going to use this rock.
I do appreciate...
That's a good tool.
I do appreciate that they at least tried to do something there and turn it into the sequence where it becomes clear that these guys can trust each other. I did have a little bit of a problem with them just immediately getting into a fist fight with Bronson just like immediately attacking him when he woke up. Like, I get it. He woke up, he heard a gun cock. But, like, he knows he's chained to this guy, right? Like, he was there when he was chained. That's kind of how it would work. Like, he knows this guy was a prisoner just as much as he was. So, like, he's just assuming this guy is going to try and kill him just because, what, he's not, he's one of the other guys? That seems kind of judgy, but I don't know. I've never been in wartime, so what do I know? But
I do. I know a lot from my time as a pilot.
Back in WWII?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean World War II. This was a wrestling federation that I was a part of, WWII.
Right. Before
WCW, I was a pilot.
World Wrestling International Initiative.
Oh, close. World Wrestling International.
Oh,
we were double international. We were up in the stars. You know, we let aliens join us.
Interstellar.
Yes. Where were you in the 1920s when we could have used naming? Yeah,
okay,
the war times.
WWII was definitely not in the 1920s, Michelle.
This was my wrestling federation. It absolutely was.
Okay, fair enough. You're right.
We didn't want getting mistaken with the 1940s. There was a whole war. That's real sad.
But wait. If
Look, do not listen too closely to my lore because I know I have already contradicted it so many times. This is how improv works. You just yes-end yourself into a corner until it's no longer funny. Yeah, that is the rule of comedy.
Well, there are those of us who would argue that improv is never funny to begin with, but that's another thing for another podcast.
Yeah, we don't have to go into that, or I'll rage. I'll turn into a fish man, like a werewolf, except I suddenly have like a fish on the top half of my body, just flopping around, being like, I need water. I'm dying.
You'd be like an orangutan.
Orangutan.
Yeah, there's another one, by the way. How long can the fish man stay out of the goddamn water if it's a fish man?
Apparently long enough. It's got the face of a human, but the jaw of a carp.
Perhaps it's not a gill man. You know, maybe he still breathes normal air, and he's just able to swim.
Add it to the list of things I want to see a documentary about, so that I know how the fuck these things fuck and reproduce.
It laid a giant soft shell egg in a spider web in a cave. You know, who knows? Who knows?
That's the best part of this film. Everything having to do with the baby, including discovering it and being like, how did that happen? And then it dying. Best parts of the film.
The fucking egg explodes and the little baby's flopping around on the ground. You can laugh about it because it's a monster baby, right? It's not.
I'd laugh if it was a human baby.
Like
if it flopped like that, it's really funny. Yeah, I don't care if it's
that's true. Baby. I laughed my ass off about the zombie person baby in Dead Alive.
Yeah. See? The shackle thing. You were saying that, like, that guy knew he would be shackled to a dead person. I'm not going to say which movie this ending is from, but it's a movie I love, and we'll just say that it's not the first time a character has found themselves in a terrible situation while they're attached to a dead person or two.
You're not wrong.
Now you know which movie it is, yeah. And that's what I could think of when that was happening.
I knew what movie it was the instant you mentioned it, Michelle.
There are many movies where people die attached to other people.
Oh, for God's sake. Anyway, do you have anything else to say about this movie?
Could have been better if it was half a fish, half a naked man.
Or just a naked man.
Or a naked fish.
So, actually, you bring up an interesting side quest we can go on here,
Good.
Michelle. You just said half a fish, half a man. Now, if you're going to do half a fish, half a man, where are you bisecting it? Are you doing like mermaid type, where it's like man torso up and then like fish waist down, or are you fucking splitting it up the middle somehow, like Art the Clown chopping that lady in half and then smushing them together?
Is it supposed to be sexy? Because that will change my answer.
I think that's entirely up to you. You're the one creating the half fish, half man. Maybe you're splitting it down this like front to back, you know, laterally, so you're gonna keep the face and the whole front of the man. But then it's like a gigantic weird fish body coming out the back. I don't know. How would you do it, Michelle?
Well, the thing is, I would do kind of what this movie did of take certain parts of each. We're keeping the tail, and then we're also giving it legs. So that part we got figured out. From like the torso down, both those things are happening. Because I think the idea of a man being forced to flop around because he has a giant fishtail is such a funny visual to me, of him being like, blah, blah, like getting flopped everywhere. Yeah. We have to keep the dick and balls from the human, but they do have to be tucked in a cloaca. I don't know if that's called a cloaca, but they gotta have like a genital slot of some sort. So we need that to happen. 6-pack, but scaly. The face of Ryan Gosling, but the gills of a trout. And I want it to always be screaming. That's what I would go with. Oh, no arms. No arms on this thing. The 6-pack turns directly into a neck. And there's just like a very short torso. And the entire thing just flops around while screaming and trying to get back into the ocean because it cannot breathe.
So if you happen to be a listener of We Watch Shudder, who's also an artist, maybe you draw drawings, I would like you to run that back, listen through Michelle's description of her fishman, and do your best to,
Morgan, get on it.
To draw Michelle's fishman and send it over to us. Facebook,
I'm
we
just
watch
thinking.
Shudder. Instagram at we watch Shudder, or mail at wewatchshudder.com. Somebody illustrate Michelle's Fishman.
All I need is just a human with a fishtail being forced to flop everywhere. That's all I can think about, and how fucking funny
That's how
that
they
would
get
be.
around, is they just gotta flop, flop, flop.
Yeah. Magikarpin, but you're half a man. Mangikarpin.
That's something about that
Magikarp?
sounds very wrong.
Oh no, he used Splash. It was super effective. Oh no.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Mangikarp, I choose you. Okay, thanks.
Oh, one thing we did forget to
put me back in the
mention
water.
about this movie that I did actually think was pretty rad, is when he fucking ripped that crocodile's head in half.
Yes.
That was pretty
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah. But the thing is, I've seen it in Godzilla
Well,
or
yeah,
King Kong.
whatever. I don't
And
care
that's
if
kind
I've
of
seen it
bummer.
before or not, but
Every movie could improve if there's a crocodile getting ripped apart.
Yeah.
Like the jaw like that.
Right.
The Notebook, way better. It's just halfway through it, show his love, he rips a crocodile's jaw open.
The Notebook would have been way better if Rachel McAdams had gotten ripped apart.
Oh no.
Or Ryan
that's how
Gosling,
it
for that
ended?
matter. Either one of them.
Oh shit! I just realized I've got Ryan Gosling on the brain. So my Fishman starring in the Notebook. I said he had a face like Ryan Gosling. Apparently, that's who I've got in my head right now.
Oh,
Okay.
That's
Well-
I'm waiting for that drawing to show up. Somebody's gonna do it. You know it's gonna happen.
I'm gonna send this clip to Morgan and be like, "Listen, help me out. She's one of the best artists I know.
What,
I gotta know."
she doesn't just listen to our podcast on a weekly basis as a matter of course and friendship?
She surprisingly does sometimes, which I don't understand why. No one should listen to this.
Michelle, you can't listen every single week without fail sometimes.
I did not hear you ask the every other week without fail. And she can't because she lives on a boat. And sometimes she doesn't have internet.
What kind of a boat?
Oil rig.
She lives
So she
on
sends
an
me-
oil rig?
Yeah, sometimes she sends me terrifying pictures of what it's like when it floods and it's dark out there.
Does she work there, or does she just live out there?
Oh, she's a wrongicon. So she just hangs out in an aquarium on a boat. It's kind of cruel that they put her in an aquarium right beside where she could just live free. She's also an artist, though. She's a fishwoman who can draw.
Michelle, does she work on the fucking oil rig, or does she just live out there? Would you just answer the fucking
know what?
question?
I like the lore of her just like living on an oil rig.
I know! That was my next question! It's like,
Yeah,
is that a thing
I
you
like
can
that
do?
more.
You could just rent an apartment on an oil rig? Because I'll go. I will go, and you will never
Rent has
see my
gotta be
ass
absurd.
again.
That rent has got to be absurd, though.
I don't know. You'd be willing, as long as you're willing to put up with a certain. I imagine. I don't know. Somebody get me an apartment on an oil rig. Wouldn't that be fucking?
I have no
rad?
idea what she does. I hear about life on the boat. It sounds.
It's
awful.
not a boat, Michelle.
It is a boat. It's a very small oil rig, so it's a boat. It's a 2-person boat that she lives on.
Does it move?
I don't remember.
Well,
I will have to ask.
If it's an oil drilling rig, probably not. And that's my point. If it doesn't move, it's not a. Wow, Jesus Christ! Why?
I'm really trying to figure out what my friend Morgan does now.
I think
because
you're.
I have no idea. She's very smart and she lives on the ocean. And I think she studies activity.
Michelle, does she live on the ocean or on an oil rig?
She floats on the ocean as an orangutan. She's very buoyant.
So the whole oil rig thing was bullshit.
No, she does live.
Oh,
well, she
God.
lives in Texas, and then she goes out to the ship. But I don't know what she does out there.
I can't
think
keep
she
any
studies
of your
seismic
lore
activity.
straight.
This one's real. And I truly do not know what she does. She's a scientist.
Guys,
That's all I know.
roll that whole thing back too, and if you can decipher whatever the fuck Michelle's been trying to tell me for the last 5 minutes, let me know. Does she live on an oil rig? Does she work on an oil rig? Does she live on the ocean? What the
She lives in Texas. She works on, I think, an oil rig, and she does science stuff. And sometimes she's out there for weeks. And then she goes back to Texas, which sucks. And then she just wants to get back out to the ocean because it's better than being in Texas.
Did you just insult the entire state of Texas?
Yeah, they know what they did.
Good job. No, I'm proud of you. Well done. I think that's enough. Do you think that's enough?
I've been done for 30 minutes.
All right, fair. So have I. Say goodnight, Michelle.
Good night, Michelle.